What's up YouTube? Welcome to .NET More. This is a video tutorial on Crystal Report from beginners to advanced. Before starting this video, I would like to ask you a favor. If you found this video helpful, please thumbs up this video, and for more awesome videos like this, please be subscribed to this channel. In this part, I will show you some basics about Crystal Report and Crystal Report Viewer. Things like creating a new Crystal Report and getting started with a Crystal Report. First of all, Crystal Report is used to design and generate reports from a wide range of data sources like database, text files, XML files, etc. Actually, there are two types of Crystal Report. One is for Visual Studio, that is for the purpose of developing the project or Crystal Report. And second one is runtime Crystal Report, that will be used in client side where we don't need to design Crystal Report, only we need to run created Crystal Report. So keep in mind that there are two types of Crystal Report. One is for Visual Studio and one is for runtime. I will be explaining basics of Crystal Report with a Windows Form application. For that, go to File, then New, then Project, then select Windows under Visual C#, then select Windows Form application, then name your project. Here I will name it as So here we have a brand new Windows Form application. It comes with a default form 1. Now I want to change this form title. For that, go to Properties here. Then changing this form title as Basics of Crystal Report. Then change Windows State to Maximized. In order to avoid commonly seen errors in Crystal Report, we want to do some presettings for this project. Right click on Project, then go to Properties. Make sure that targeted framework is not a client profile version. After that, we have to change this app config. Now we want to add a property into startup tag. Use legacy v2 runtime activation policy to true. Now let me add Crystal Report Viewer into this form. For that, open your toolbox, then go to Reporting section, Reporting, then drag Crystal Report Viewer into this form. I want to name this Crystal Report. For that, right click on it, then Properties, then change this name here, CRV Viewer. I want to hide this left panel tree. For that, we can change this property to panel view to none. That's it. Open Solution Explorer. Now we are going to add Crystal Report into this project. Before that, I am going to add a folder into this project. Right click on it, then add new folder. Inside this folder, we are going to save our Crystal Reports. So I am going to name this folder as Crystal Reports. Make sure that folder name does not have any space. Inside this folder, I am going to add a Crystal Report. Right click on it, then add new item. Then from the left panel, select Reporting, then select Crystal Reports. And I am going to name this report as CRPT as the prefix for this Crystal Report. CRPT Hello World. Click on Add. Now we have a dialog box like this. Now we have to select the template for this Crystal Report. For now, I will select this option as a blank report. Then click on OK. So here we have the Crystal Report. It contains report header. This section will be shown in the top of the report. Then we have page header. This will be shown in the top of every page. Then we have section for details. Then we have report footer. It will be shown at the end of the report. Finally, we have page footer. It will be shown at the end of each page in the report. So I am going to design this Crystal Report as simple as possible since this is the first part of this tutorial. First of all, I'm going to add a text box here in order to write my report header name or report name. I can just type it here, report name, and I want to format this. Right click on it, then format object, go to font tab, want to set it as CGOUI, here it is, then font size to 14, then click on OK. Let me expand this text box so that you can see the complete text in it. Now I am going to add a hello world in this details part here. For that, right click, then insert text box hello world. I want to format it, right click on it, format object, go to font tab, then changing this font family to CGOUI. I want to increase the font size to 12, then click on OK. Let me expand it. Now I want to add page number into this report. For that, right click inside page footer, then insert, then special field, then look for page number. Here it is. Then place the field inside page footer right below hello world. Now I want to add one more special field inside page header. For that, right click on it, then insert special fields, then print date. That's it. In order to see the preview of this cursor report, you can click on this main report preview here. Here you can see the report name, then print date, that means today's date, then hello world string. At the end of this page, in the footer section, page footer, here we have page number. Now I am going to show this cursor report inside this form cursor report viewer in C#. For that, I am going to use this form load event. In order to generate the event, double click on this form here. For that, I am going to create an object of this cursor report. First of all, cursor reports, that will be the namespace of this cursor report since it is inside this folder. .crpt hello world, object name will be crpt is equal to new object. Now we are going to set this cursor report inside this cursor report viewer. For that, you can do this. Report viewer name is crv viewer dot report source. First of all, we will clear the report source by setting it as null, and then we will set it with the created cursor report is equal to report source is equal to crpt. That's it. Now let me run this application. For that, you can click on the start button here. That's it, guys. Here we have the cursor report inside cursor report viewer, so it is displayed as we expected. So in this video tutorial, we will be discussing mainly 3 points. First one will be how to display C# data table in cursor report using dataset. And second one will be how to use formulas in cursor report. Finally, we will learn how to suppress report elements in cursor report with and without condition. So let's get started. This is my Visual Studio 2013 and I have installed cursor report for Visual Studio 2013. I will be explaining things using a Windows Form application. So first of all, we are going to create a Windows Form application. For that, go to File, then New, then Project. Under Visual C#, select Windows, then Windows Form application. So name your application here. So in this case, it will be something like Crystal Data Table. And select the location where you want to save the application. Then click on OK. So here we have our brand new Windows Form application, and it has a default Windows form, so that will be form 1. And so I want to change the form title. For that, right click on the form, then go to properties, then change the text here. So I want to change it as data table to crystal report. So that's it. Now we want to include a crystal report viewer in order to display our crystal report. For that, open the toolbox, then under reporting header you can see the crystal report viewer here. Drag into the form. So here we have our crystal report viewer. So I want to name the viewer. For that, right click on the viewer, then go to properties, then I want to change the name as CRV data table. Now I want to hide this tool panel that is displayed here in the left side area. For that, we want to change the tool panel view into none. That's it. Next, we are going to write code inside the load event of the form. First of all, go to properties of the form by right click on the form, then click on properties, then click on lightning symbols here for events, then double click on load. So here we have our load event of the form. Let me paste the code for the hard-coded table here. Table name will be product and it has 4 columns: serial number, name, price, and count, and 5 test data are inserted into the product. So we want to show this data table in our crystal report. So we will be using a data set to pass this C# data table into crystal report. Now I'm going to add crystal report and data set into our project. Before that, we need to make it organized. For that, I'm going to add a folder with name report generator, and then inside the folder I'm gonna add 2 folders, one for crystal report and one for data set. First of all, we are going to add a data set for this table. For that, right click on dataset folder, then add new item, then select data from the left panel, then select data set, name the dataset as ds product. I use ds as prefix for dataset. Click on add. Now I'm going to add the table for product in the dataset. For that, right click on dataset, then add, then data table, name here product, and then you can add columns like this. Column name should be matched with the C# data table column. Let me copy the column names from here and pasting here. You can use Ctrl L shortcut to add columns. So now we have the product table inside our data set, and it has same column names as C# data table, and we can change the data column type here. For that, right click on the column, then click on properties, then here you can set the data type also, and in this case we have int string decimal long. Int, by default it will be a string, so name will be string, then price as decimal, and then count as int. I think, sorry, it's long. So here you can set in 64. That's it. To save the data set, press Ctrl S. Now we can add the crystal report. For that, right click on crystal report folder, then add new item. Then you need to select reporting from the left panel, then select crystal report. You can name the report here CRPT product. I use CRPT as prefix for crystal reports. Click on add. Now we have our CRPT product crystal report here, and now it is asking for further configuration of the crystal report. Now keep this crystal report gallery as it is. Click on OK. Now we need to select the data set that we have just created. For that, open the folder project data, then under ADO.NET dataset you can see the dataset that we have created. Here we have the DS product dataset with its namespace. Below that you can see our product table. Now in order to select the table, you need to click on this button with right arrow. Click on that. Now just click on finish. Now we have our crystal report CRPT product. In the report you can see two default elements, page number and print date. Let me get rid of that, deleting those fields. And here you can see the field explorer window. Suppose in your case you are not seeing this window, you can right click on the report, then click on field explorer. There you can see database fields. Under that you can see the table product from our dataset DS product. Under that you can see the columns in it. Suppose you change some of the columns in our table, or you added or deleted columns, it won't be updated automatically into our crystal report. We just need to update it manually. Right click on the table, then click on verify database. If there is any change, it will be updated. Now suppose you need to add more tables into the crystal report, you can do that by right click on the database fields here, click on database export, then select the table, then click on the right arrow here, click on OK. Now I am going to design the crystal report with the product table. So here we have the columns serial number, name, price and count. I'm going to drag these columns into details section. Here you can see one field object element, and this will be the text object element. So this is a plain text showing serial number, and it stands for the column header, and in this field object it will show the column values, and it is repeated as much as rows present in the table. So let me drag other columns also. Now I want report header. For that I can do something like this. Right click on the report, then insert text object. Place the object in the middle of the report. You can enter the report header here. So in this case it will be C# data table to crystal report. I want to add some styles to this text. So for that, right click on it, then format object, then go to font. Here you can adjust font and font size and related things. In this case I want the header as bold, and I'm gonna increase the font size to 12 from 10. Click on OK, and I'm going to expand this header to see the complete text in it. Now I want to format these column headers. For that you can individually format them by right click on each of them. Otherwise you can select all of them once and right click on one of them, and then you can see a format multiple objects option there. Click on it. In the font tab you can adjust the style to bold, then remove the underline. Click OK. Now I want to show this crystal report in our crystal report viewer in form 1. Okay, before getting into that, to avoid unnecessary errors, you need to add this tag inside our app config file.
use legacy v2 runtime activity policy to true. Okay, then inside the form event we need to set the data source for this customer report. So our customer report name is CRPT product. I'm gonna create an object of the report CRPT equals new customer report CRPT product. Okay, now we can set the data source like this: CRPT dot database dot tables. Then we need to give the table name that we have given in the data set, that is this product. Let me copy this and pasting here. Dot set data source. Inside that we can pass the table product as a parameter. Now I am going to set the report viewer source as this customer report. For that you can do something like this: CRV data table dot report source equals null to reset the customer report viewer. After that we will be setting the XR report CRPT. Let me run the application. So that's it. Let me maximize the window. So this is how we can show C# data table in customer report. So this is our current customer report. We need to show the table border and separation line between each column and each row. Unfortunately, in customer report we don't have any element to draw such a table. We need to show the borders and separation lines manually. Let's look how we can do that. So in order to add a border for this table, we can use box element. For that, right click on the report, then insert box. Then I'm gonna draw this box from the top left corner to bottom right corner like this. So we have our border here, and we are gonna add the column separation. For that we will be using line element. Draw from the top border to bottom border. Same for other columns also. Now we want to add a row separation. For that we can add a horizontal line here. Now I want to change the line thickness of these lines. For that I will be selecting all of the lines, then right click on one of them and click on format multiple objects. Then we can change the thickness width here. Click on OK. Now let me run the application now. Okay, here we can see a gap here. To avoid the gap we can reduce the details extra space here. Now let's run the application again, and that's it. Now let's check how we can add formulas into customer report. For that, in Field Explorer you need to right click on this formula fields, then click on new. Here we need to name our formula. I will say sum of price. Click on OK. Then we will see a pop-up window for formula workshop. This is where we define our formula. So in this formula I need to show the sum of price in from the table. For some operations we can use sum function, then one open parenthesis and then one closing parenthesis, and we need to pass the price as a parameter here. So for that you can see the table product here. We can see all the tables that we have added into our crystal report here. So here we have our product table. Then I want to add this price parameter for the sum function. For that you can drag this price into the sum function like this. Now you can save the formula by pressing Ctrl S, or otherwise you can use any of these button, save and close. Okay, in order to show the formula, we can drag the formula into our report. So in this case I will show here right below the price, and I will add a text box saying this is sum of price. Okay, let me run the application now. That's it. Here we can see sum of price is equal to 840. Finally, we are going to discuss how we can suppress or hide elements in crystal report. So suppose we want to hide this report footer. For that you can right click on the report footer, then click on suppress. Now if you run the application, you can't see the report footer. Otherwise, if you want to suppress an element in crystal report using a condition, suppose here we have the sum of price as 840. So if I want to suppress this report footer if the sum of price is greater than 850, for that you can do something like this. Click on the element, then click on section export. Here we can see the sections that we have in our crystal report. We have report header, page header, details, page footer, and report footer. So we need to hide or suppress this report footer conditionally. For that, check this suppress check box, then click on this button. This is for to define our condition for suppressing. Click on it. Now we need to describe our condition here. If our formula sum of price, that's here, drag this into the if condition, then if the condition is greater than 850, then true, else false. This means if the formula or sum of price is greater than 850, then suppress the element, else don't suppress the element. In order to save the condition, you can press Ctrl S, click on OK. Now let's run the application. Here you can see the report footer. Since the sum of price is 840, suppose I'm going to add a fixed value into our sum of price. For that you can right click on the formula, then click on edit. Here I'm gonna add a 50 into actual sum of price. Save and close. Now let me run the application now. So here you can't see the report foot since the formula value is greater than 850. You can download this sample code from the link given below in video description. In this video, we will discuss how to use stored procedures in our crystal reports. So let's check how we can consume stored procedures in crystal report. For that, I will be using a Windows Form application to show how it works. Even though you can use the same method in any C# application, whether it is WPF or ASP.NET Web application. In order to create a Windows Form application, go to File, then New, then Project, or you can use the shortcut Ctrl Shift N. Under Visual C Sharp, select Windows, then Windows Form Application. Then name your project here. I will name it as Store Procedure in Crystal Report in CRPT. Then select the location where you want to save this application. Then click on OK. So now we have a brand new Windows Form application. In this video tutorial, we are going to deal with two methods to create crystal report from store procedure. In the first method, we will call store procedure from our C# code and we will pass the result into our crystal report. In the second method, we will be calling the store procedure directly from our crystal report. So let's get started. I'm going to design this form with crystal report viewer. Let me expand this form, and from the toolbox I'm going to drag crystal report viewer under reporting heading, drag into the form, then go to properties. I want to change name for this viewer CRV report, then tool panel view to none, and I want to change this form title as crystal report with stored procedure. In order to select the two methods, I will drag two buttons. Let me copy the button. That's it. I will name this button as btn method 1 and text will be method 1. Method 2 btn method 2. Before discussing our first method, let me do the DB part. For that, let me open my management studio here. I want to create a new database. For that, right click on databases, then click on new database. Then name your DB here. I will name it as product DB. Click on OK. So here you can see the newly created product DB here. I want to add a table into this DB. For that, right click on tables, then table. So let's create a table to store details of products, starting with product ID column. Data type will be int, then product name as worker 50, then product code as worker 50, then price as decimal 18.2, then count as int. Let me save the table. You can use the shortcut Ctrl S or you can click on the save button here. Then name your table here. I will name it as product. Click on OK. In order to see the newly created table, expand these tables here. There you can see the product table. I have inserted some test rows into the product table. Now let me create a store procedure. For that, click on new query here. Make sure that we have selected the proper database product DB here. In order to create a new store procedure, you can type like this: create pros, then procedure name will be product under x price, and we have a parameter at price of the type decimal 18.2 as begin end. So in this stored procedure, we will retrieve all the product details whose amount is less than this price threshold. SQL query will be like this: select star from product where price less than given price. Instead of select star, I will specify column names here: product name, then product code, price, and count. In order to execute this query, you can use the shortcut F5 or click on this execute button here. So we have created the stored procedure successfully. In order to see the newly created stored procedure, you can expand programmability. Then under stored procedure, it should be there. If not, click on this refresh button here. That's it. Now back to Visual Studio. Before explaining method 1, you need to change your app config file. For that, let me open my app config file here. And you need to add this tag into your startup tag. Use legacy v2 runtime activation policy to true. Now back to our form. In order to work with Crystal report, I will add 2 folders into our project. One is for Crystal report, so I will name it as Crystal report, and one is for dataset. So under dataset, I am going to create a new dataset for product. For that, right click on dataset, then add new item, then select data from the left panel, then select data set here. Then I will name it as DS product. I use DS as prefix for dataset. Click on add. I'm going to add a data table here. For that, right click, then add data table. Then you can name your table here. I will name it as product. Then we can add columns from our product table. So it will be, we don't want product ID since we have not selected product ID in our stored procedure. So starting with product name. For that, right click, then add column, or you can use the shortcut Control L, product name, then product code, then price and count. That's it. So we have created a data set here, DS product, and we need this data set in method 1 only. Now let me create a Crystal report. For that, right click on the folder, then add new item, then reporting, then select Crystal report. I will name it as CRPT method 1. Then click on add. Then it will open a dialog box like this. Keep the option as it is using the report wizard. Click on OK. Then I will select the data set from here. So I will select the product table under DS product dataset. Then click on finish. Let me design the Crystal report. Before that, I will delete the default initial field from our Crystal report, that is print date and page number. I will add a report header here. So I want to make this in a same line. For that, I will select and right click, then align tops. Let me reduce the details section height, and I will change the column header style. For that, select all of them, then right click for my multiple objects, then go to font, uncheck underline. I will add a bold style to these column headers. Click on OK. So let's implement method 1. For that I will use the method 1 button click event. In that I will call the stored procedure product under X price, and we will retrieve the result into a C# data table, and we will pass the data table into our customer report. That's it. For that I will use the method 1 button click event. Double click on the button. First of all, I will create an object of SQL connection here. SQL connection. So in this case I need to import the system.data.sql client namespace, then SQL con equals new SQL connection. Inside that we need to pass our connection string. So under the folder crystal report, you can see a crystal report CRPT method, and I want to rename that into CRPT method 1. For that, right click on it, then rename. I will rename it into CRPT method 1. Click enter. That's it. So we will be creating another crystal report for method 2. Now back to the event. First of all, we will check whether the SQL connection is open or not. If it is closed, we will open the SQL connection. Now we will make use of SQL data adapter to retrieve the result from our stored procedure. SQL data adapter SQLDA equals new SQL data adapter. Inside that we need to pass our stored procedure name. For that I will copy the stored procedure name from our stored procedure and pasting here, and second parameter will be our SQL connection SQL con, and then we will set the data adapter command select command dot command type equals command type dot stored procedure, and we will pass the stored procedure parameter select command dot parameters dot add with value. Parameter name is price. Copy paste here, and in this case I will pass a value 65. Now I will create an object of data table here. DTBL equals new data table, and then we will fill the result into this data table by calling the fill function sqlda.fill DTBL. So we have the stored procedure result inside this data table. SQL con dot close, and now we need to pass this data table into our stored procedure. First of all, I will create an object of the stored procedure CRPT method 1. CRPT method 1 equals new CRPT method 1, and we will set the cursor report data source like this database dot tables, and we will pass the data table name here that you can see in the data set as product. So I will type here product dot set data source, and we will pass our data table here DTBL, and we will set this crystal report into a crystal report viewer. For that, first of all, I will reset the report source to null, and we will set this crystal report into the crystal report viewer CRPT method 1. Let me run this application. For that, click on the start button here. Now click on method 1. So that's it. Here you can see the details of products from our product table whose amount is below 65. So in For the last two columns you can see a misalignment there. For that you can align these headers to the right part, or you can align these raw details to left part. For that, let me go to my cursor report CRPT method 1 and select the column headers and right click, format multiple objects, and then go to paragraph, then alignment to right. Click on OK. Save. Let me run this application again. Click on method 1. Now it looks fine. So in method 1 we called store procedure from our C# code, and we filled the result into C# data table, and we passed the data table into cursor report CRPT method 1 through the dataset DS product. Now let's move to method 2. For that I'm going to add new cursor report, add new item, reporting, select cursor report. I will name the cursor report as CRPT method 2. Click on add, then keep the option as it is using the report wizard. Click on OK. In this case we are going to add new connection into data sources. For that, let me expand create new connection folder, then go to OLEDB ADO, expand the folder, then click on make new connection. Then we need to select the server. So in this case I will select Microsoft OLEDB provider for SQL server, then click on next. So here we need to pass our connection information. In this case I will use Windows authentication mode, so I will select integrated security to true. So if you are going to use the SQL Server authentication mode, you can uncheck this and you need to pass user ID and password. So in this case I will stick with Windows authentication mode. Then we need to pass server name here, local /SQLE 2012. Then we need to select database from this drop down. I will select product DB, then click on finish. So here you can see a connection local /SQLE 2012. Expand this connection, expand product DB, expand DBO. Below that you can see stored procedures. Here we have our stored procedure product under X price. Select the procedure, then click on this button with right arrow. So it will pop up another dialog box. In that we need to pass default values for our stored procedure parameters. So in this case we have a parameter at price. So whether you can set it as null or you can enter some value here. For now I will set it as null. Click on OK. Then click on finish here. So in this case I will remove special fields, print date and page number, and in the file explorer you can see database fields here, and then you can see the stored procedure product under X price. Below that you can see the columns from our stored procedure, product name, product code, price and count. So we can make use of these columns in our cursor report instead of dataset. So we don't need to use dataset in this method. Now let's design the report. For that I will drag text object from the toolbox into report header, and I will enter method 2 here, and I'm going to format the object. Let me increase the font size to somewhere 24 and style will be bold. Click on OK. Let me expand the object. Now I'm going to add columns from our stored procedure. Go to field explorer, then drag these columns: product name, product code, price and count. I want to format these table headers. For that, select all of them, then right click, format multiple objects, then go to font, uncheck underline, selecting bold from style drop down, click on OK. Let me decrease the size of details section here, and you can see the parameter fields from our stored procedure here as price. If you click on main report preview here, you can see the preview of our cluster report. At the moment, we don't have any product details here since we have passed null value to the parameter product. Now let's consume this cluster report CRPT method 2 using the button method 2. So let me create button click event for this button. For that, let me double click on it. Let me create an object of the cluster report here, so that store procedure in CRPT cluster report dot CRPT method 2. CRPT method 2 will be the object name equals new CRPT method 2, and we are going to set this cluster report to our cluster report viewer. For that, let me copy these two lines from our method 1 and pasting here and changing CRPT method 1 to CRPT method 2. So we are going to pass value into this parameter field from our C# so we can create the report dynamically. For that, you can do something like this: CRPT method 2 dot set parameter value. Then first parameter will be the parameter name itself. So it is at price, and I will pass a value here as 65. That's it. Let me run this application. Click on method 2. That's it. Here we have the product details whose price is under 65.
In this video, I will tell you how to create subreports in cluster report. So let's get started. This is my Visual Studio 2013. For the demonstration purpose, I have created a Windows Form application with name Subreport. Before creating cluster report, let me create a folder for adding new cluster report with name Crystal Report. Inside that, we will add our cluster reports. First of all, I am going to add a main cluster report. For that, right click on the folder, then click on add new item, select reporting from the left panel, then select cluster report, naming the report as CRPT main. Click on add. Then from this dialog box, I will select as blank report. Click on OK. I will add a report header. For that, right click, then insert text object. I will enter subreport in cluster report. Let me format this object. For that, right click on it, then click on format object and go to font. Style will be bold. Let me increase the font size to 12. Click on OK. Let me expand this so that you can see the complete text in it. Now let me add a new cluster report. Right click on the folder, then add new item, select reporting, then cluster report, and name your report here. I will name it as CRPT report in project. Click on add, select as blank report, click on OK, and I will add a header. For that, right click, then insert text object. Header will be report
inside same report. Let me expand this and I'm going to format the object bold style, font will be 12, click on OK. Now let's add one more crystal report. Right click on the folder, click on add new item, select reporting, then select crystal report, name your report here. I will name it as CRPT outside project report. Click on add and I'm going to add a header here. Right click, insert text object. Text will be report outside project. Right click on it, format object, go to font, bold style, font size will be 12, click on OK. Let me expand the text object. Now I am going to move this report CRPT outside project report into my desktop. For that, right click on the folder, then click on open folder in File Explorer. Then I am going to cut these two files from here and pasting in desktop. Now back to Visual Studio, refresh, right click on the report, then click on delete, click on OK. Okay, the report is deleted now. And in this report, let me change this title here, report inside same project, not report. Now we are going to add sub reports inside our main report. So let me add a sub report here. For that, right click, then insert, then sub report. Place your sub report in details section, and after placing that you will get a pop-up dialog box like this. From this dialog box itself you can say that there are 3 different ways to create sub report inside a main report. First way is to create a sub report using the reports inside the same project, and second one is using this option you can create sub reports from the outside report, and the last option is to create a new crystal report for this sub report. So let me start with the first option, choose a crystal report in project. So from this drop down you will get all the crystal report inside this project. So I selected CRPT report in project, click on OK. So here we have the sub report that is created from this report. Sub reports in main report will take the space as much as the sub report width that we have given here. If you expand this, it will take that much space to display the content inside the sub report. You can see the sub report preview if you click on this main report preview. So while seeing this preview you can see that there is a border for our sub report, and in order to remove that border you can right click on the sub report, then click on format object, then click on border here. You need to select none from the drop down for all these 4 sides so that it will remove the border from 4 sides. Click on OK. Now if you check the preview you can see the border for sub report. Now let me add another sub report into this main report using the second method. For that I will add a section below this section 3. Right click on this section, then click on insert section below. So here we have details B section. Inside that I will add a crystal report. Right click on the report, then insert, then click on Subreport, and place your report inside the details B section. Select choose an existing report option, then click on browse, then select the report that we have just moved from this project. Click on open, click on OK. So now we added a report from outside the project into our main report as a sub report. Back to main report. Now if you check the preview, you can see the sub report 1 and 2. Now let's add our final sub report using the method 3 option. For that, let me add a section below this details B section. Then I'm gonna add a sub report here. Right click here, then click on insert, then click on sub report. Place your sub report inside the details C section. Then select the third option, create a sub report with the report wizard. Name your report here. I will name it as child report. You can select data from the left panel that you need to design the report. After that, you can click on finish, then click on OK. If you double click on this sub report, you can view the report. Let me add a title here. Insert text object. I will enter the title as child report. Let me format that. Bold style, then size will be 12. Click on OK. Let me expand the title. That's it. Back to main report. So in this main report, we have added 3 sub reports using 3 different ways. If you check the main report, you can see them. Report inside same report, report outside project, then child report that is designed using the report wizard. Using method 1 and 2, we have created sub report using, that is, report inside the project and report outside the project. If you make any changes in this report, it won't affect the original report because these reports are created using a copy of them. So if you make any change in this report, it won't affect the original report. That means if you edit these titles here, report inside same report, I will edit the title and I'm gonna append a 1 to this title. Let me expand this and saving these reports. And if you check this CRPT report in project, you can see the modification there because it is different, and the sub report inside this main report is a copy of this report. In this video, I will show you how to display multiple tables in Crystal report using an example. So we have to create a product report. In that we have 2 tables. First table is for top 5 costly products, and we will display 0 stock products in the second table. So let's get started. This is my Visual Studio 2013. First of all, let me create a Windows Form application. For that, go to File, then New, then Project. Select Windows under Visual C#, then select Windows Form application. Then name your application here. I will name it as Multiple Table in Crystal Report. Then select the location where you want to save this application here. Then click on OK. So here we have our brand new Windows Form application here. In order to avoid possible errors in this application, we have to make sure few points. For that, right click on the project,
then click on properties. From this target framework drop down, make sure that you are not selected client profile version of .NET framework. Then check your app config file. In app config file, we have to set use legacy v2 runtime activation policy to true. That's it. Before adding any crystal report or dataset, it is a best practice to add two separate folders for these two files. For that, right click on the project, then click on add, then new folder. I will name it as crystal report. Try to enter folder name without any space so that you can avoid future errors. Then we have to add one more folder for dataset folder. Now let me show you my DB part. This is my management studio, and here I have a table product. Its design looks like this: product ID, product name, product code, amount and count, and it has few rows. Now we need to add a new stored procedure to generate product report. For that, click on new query here. Start like this: create pros, then procedure name will be product report as. First of all, we have to get top 5 costly products from our product tab. For that, select top 5 star from product, then order by amount in descending order. In the next query, we will select all products which has 0 count. For that, select star from product where count equals 0. In order to create this stored procedure, click on this execute button here. Newly created stored procedure can be seen under this folder stored procedure here, product report. Using this stored procedure product report, we will generate product report. Now back to Visual Studio. Inside this dataset folder, I am going to add a new dataset for product tables. For that, right click, then click on add new item. Select data from the left panel, then select dataset. You can name your dataset here. I will name it as DS product. Click on add. So here we have to add two tables, one for costly product and one for 0 count product. In order to add a new table, right click, then add data table. You can name your table here. I will name it as costly product. Now we need to add the columns. For that, right click, then add column, or you can use the shortcut Ctrl L. Then I'm going to copy the column name from the management studio and pasting here. Like this, we need 4 columns: product name, product code, amount and count. With this same structure, we need one more table for 0 count products. For that, right click on the table and copy, then paste it here and rename the table as 0 product. Save the dataset Next, we are going to create the crystal report. For that, right click on crystal report folder, then add new item, then select reporting from the left panel, then select crystal report, then name your report here. I will name it as CRPT product report. Click on add. Keep the options as it is. Click on OK. From this dialog box, we have to select the data set. Let me expand the project data folder, then expand ADO.NET datasets. Inside that, you can see our dataset DS product here. Select the dataset, then click on this double arrow, then click on finish. So here we have our newly created crystal report, and in this case we don't need these default elements. So here you can see our dataset and its tables here. First of all, I'm going to add a report header here. For that, right click, then insert text object. Title will be product report. Right click on it, then format object, then font, bold style, then font size will be 12. Click on OK. Let me expand the element so that you can see the complete text in it. In order to add multiple tables in a single crystal report, you have to use subreports. In the previous video, we have discussed how to add subreports in crystal report. If you have not watched that video, I have given the link in video description. Please go through that. Now I am going to add a crystal report in section 3. For that, right click, then insert subreport, then paste your subreport. Then it will open a new dialog box like this. Name your subreport here. I will name it as costly product. Then click on report wizard, then add this costly product table. Click on finish. Now click on OK. Now I am going to add one more subreport in details section 1. For that, right click, insert subreport, paste your subreport. Then I will name this subreport as 0 product. Click on report wizard here, then select second table 0 product, then click on finish, then click on OK. Let me arrange them in a same line. In this case, I don't want this border for these subreports, and we have discussed how we can remove this border from subreport in the previous video. For that, right click on subreport, then format object, go to border, select none from all of these 4 drop down, then click on OK. Now you can see there is no border. Same thing can be applied for second subreport. That's it. Now let's design these subreports. For that, double click on them, then remove default fields. Then I'm going to draw a table here with these columns: product name, product code, amount, and count. Let me select all of the column headers. Right click, format multiple object, then font, bold style, remove underline, click on OK. Let me add a box. Now we need to add lines to separate these columns. one more line to separate rows. Let me add a header here. Top 5 costly products. Right click on it, format object, font, bold style. Keep the font as it is, click on OK. Let me expand the header. That's it. Now we need to do the same for this 0 product subreport. Double click on it. That's it. We have designed both of these subreports. Now let's check the main preview. So here we have the two tables. Now let's check how we can display this crystal report inside our crystal report viewer. Now let me add a crystal report viewer into this form. For that, go to toolbox, then under reporting heading you can see crystal report viewer. Drag them into form, then go to properties of this crystal report viewer. I will name it as CRV viewer. Let me remove this tree view from here. For that, I will change this tool panel view to none. Now we are going to display this crystal report inside this crystal report viewer during the form load event. For that, double click on this form. So we have the form load event here. Let me create an object of SQL connection object here, SQL connection. For that, we have to import the namespace system.data.sql client. Object name will be SQL con equals new SQL connection. Inside that, we have to pass our database connection string. For now, I will copy paste the connection string here. Then after that, I will open the connection object SQL con by calling the function open. Then let's declare SQL data adapter object as SQL DA equals new SQL data adapter. Inside that, first of all, we have to pass the stored procedure name. It is product report. As a second parameter, we will pass our SQL connection object here. Then we will set the data adapter command type. Select command type equals command type dot stored procedure. I will declare a data set here, data set ds product equals new data set and we will fill the data adapter result into this data set ds product. Now we can close the SQL connection object here, SQL con dot close. Now we want to pass these datas into our crystal report. Before that, I will create an object of the report CRPT product report. Crystal report dot CRPT product report. Object will be CRPT product equals new object, and now we can pass our data here, CRPT product dot database dot tables. Inside that, we will pass our table name from our dataset, copy and pasting here. Then we can call set data source function. Inside that we will pass our first table from our dataset. Let me copy this and pasting below that. Let me change this table name to 0 product, and for 0 product second table will be passed, and we will set this crystal report into a crystal report viewer. crv dot report source. First of all, we will set it as null. After that, we will set with our crystal report crpt product. Now let me run this application. For that, click on the start button here. So here we have the form. Let me maximize that. Here we have the exact final output, and we have to reduce the separation line thickness. For that, back to application, then open our crystal report, double click on subreports, then select the separation lines from the, we can select all of them by holding Ctrl and clicking on them. Finally right click on it, then click on format multiple objects, then select the least thickness width, click on OK. Do the same for 0 product subreport. Let me expand the subreport width. Let me run this application again. So here we have the final perfect output. In this video, we will discuss how we can add watermark or background image in crystal report using C#. In the last part of the video, I will show you how to display dynamic image or watermark in crystal report. In the previous video, we have discussed how to show multiple tables in crystal report. You can find the video link in video description. This is the final output of previous lesson. In this lesson, we will add watermark into this crystal report. I can give you the brief description of the project, but if you want to learn it from scratch, please go through the previous lesson. Here we have the project in Windows Form application, and it contains a single form with a crystal report viewer, and we will be using this report viewer to show the crystal report. Inside the crystal report folder, we have a crystal report and we have a dataset ds product. Through this dataset, we will be passing our data for report generation. This is our database. Inside that, we have a table with column product ID, product name, product code, amount, and count. Product table is populated with few rows. Stored procedure product report will retrieve the data for report generation. In the first select query, it will select top 5 costly product in the table. In the second select query, it will select products with 0 count. Inside the form load event of the form, we have generated product report. First of all, we called stored procedure product report, and we filled the result into dataset ds product, and we have passed data into crystal report using this dataset, and finally we have displayed the crystal report into our crystal report viewer. Don't worry, you can download this project from the link given below in video description. So now let's try to add watermark into this crystal report. First of all, I will show you how you can add an image into crystal report. For that, I will add a new section below this report header. Right click on it, then click on insert section below. Then inside this section I am going to add a new image. Right click, then insert picture, then select the picture, then click on open, then place your picture inside this section. Now if I run this application, you can see the newly added image right below the report header product report, and it will take as much as space needed based on its size. Now I am going to make this picture as a watermark for this report. For that, right click, then section export. Now we want to move this section with image or watermark above all of other sections. For that, here you can see a upward arrow. Select the section with image or watermark, then click on this arrow, then click on OK. So watermark section is the first section in this crystal report. Now one more step, right click on this section, then section export, then select this option, underlay following sections. Click on OK. Now let me run this application. So here you can see the image as a watermark for this report. In order to fit this watermark into your report, you can adjust width and height of the report based on the page size. Or you can edit this image in photo editing softwares like Photoshop according to the page size. To see the page size, right click, then go to design, then page setup. Then you can see page options. From this drop down you can select the size of the page in your report. If you select A4, you can see width and height of the page, and according to these measures you can edit your watermark. For now I will select A4, click on OK. Now I will show you a limitation of crystal report watermark. If I add lines into report header B section here, you can't see these lines in the generated report. Let me show you that. Now you can't see these two lines that I have added in report header B section in generated report. That's one of the limitation of crystal report watermark. There is a solution for this problem. If you want to draw an element with line, you can draw that element in a subreport, like I have done in this subreport, costly product and zero product. Inside these subreports I have added lines here. You can see lines to separate columns and rows, and even though you can see these lines in generated report because it is in subreport. So a solution to this problem is to add lines in subreport so that you can see those lines above the watermark. Now let's discuss how we can make this watermark dynamic so that we can change the image during runtime. For that, I'm going to add a new table into this dataset. Right click, add data table. I will name this table as report details. Let me add one column, watermark path. Now save this dataset, then back to the crystal report, then expand data fields in field explorer. Right click on it, then data expert, expand project data ADO.NET datasets, then include this newly added report details table into our report. Click on OK. Click on OK. So now we have the newly added report details here. In order to make this watermark dynamic, right click on it, then format object, then go to picture tab, then click on this formula button, right to graphic location. Then from here we will select the watermark path column here and drag into this field, then click on save and close and click on OK.
So now we have to pass the image path from our C# code. Let me go to the form load event. So here we have to pass a new data table DTBL, new data table TBL columns dot add first parameter as column name itself. So I will copy this from here and paste it. The second parameter will be the type of column, type of string, and let me add a row into this table etbl.rows.add. Inside this I'm going to add image path of a watermark. Now let me select a watermark image from my desktop. This is fine. Right click on it, go to properties, then select the path, paste it here. Finally we have to pass the image name. Let me copy from here and pasting here, and we want to pass this table into our data set. For that let me copy this line and pasting here. Let me change the table name, report detail, and we will pass the newly created table DTBL. Let me run this application now. So here you can see the new image that we have passed during runtime. So this is how we can add runtime watermark into Crystal Report. In this video we are going to discuss how we can group data in Crystal Report. Before starting this video, I would like to ask you a favor. If you found this video helpful, please thumbs up this video, and for more awesome videos like this, please be subscribed to this channel. .NET Mob. Without further ado, let's get started. This is my Visual Studio 2013. Here we have a C# Windows Form application. Into this application, I'm going to add a Crystal Report. For that, right click on this project, then add new item, select reporting from the left panel, then select Crystal Report, then name your report. Here I will name it as CRPT sales report. I use CRPT as a prefix for Crystal Report, then click on add. I'm going to create a blank report, so I will select this as blank report, then click on OK. Before designing this report, let me show you my database here. This is my SQL Server Management Studio. Here we have a database .NET Mob. Inside that we have a table sales. It contains columns like sales ID, date, product, count, price, and total. Now I want to create a new stored procedure in order to retrieve all of these data into Crystal Report. For that, right click on database and click on new query. In order to create this stored procedure, you can start like this: create pros sales view all as select star from sales. Click on this execute button here. Now I'm going to import data from the newly created store procedure. For that, right click on this database fields in Field Explorer and click on database expert, expand create new connection, then expand oil edb ADO, then double click on make new connection, then select Microsoft oil edb provider for SQL Server, then click on next. Then type your server name here, local /SQLE 2012. Then select this integrated security to true. Then select database from this drop down. I will select .NET Mob, then click on finish. So here we have the newly created connection. Expand this, expand .NET Mob, then expand DBO
then expand stored procedures, then select the newly created stored procedure sales viewer and click on this right arrow, then click on OK. So here we can see the newly added stored procedure here. With this stored procedure, we can design this crystal report. First of all, let me show data from stored procedure inside this report. Then we will add group into the report. First of all, let me add report header, sales report. Right click on it, format object, go to font tab. Want to change the font family to CGOUI, changing font size to 14. Click on OK. Let me expand the header in order to see the complete text in it. We are going to add these store procedures column into the report. First of all, date, product, count, price, and total. Select all of these column headers, right click on it, then format multiple objects, go to font tab, then change the font family to CGOUI, then change font size to 12, uncheck the underline, then click on OK. Let me expand these column headers. Let me see the preview of this report. Click on this main report preview. Now we have to make it as a table. Then we need to add a box. And we need to add lines in order to separate these columns. Let me add a horizontal line for this column header. Switch to preview. So here we have a decent looking table for sales report. Now I am going to add group into this report. For that, click on crystal report, insert, then group. In this, we have to select a column for grouping. So I will select this product column. Then you can change the order of sorting. I will select it as ascending order. Then click on OK. So here you can see the group name inside group header section. Then we have group footer section as well. Let me arrange it here. Let me switch to preview here. So here you can see the product name as the group header. Under that you can see sales of the product, bag, notebook, pencil. Now I want to style this group header. For that, right click on it, then format object, then go to font tab, changing color to white, and we want to change the background color to black. Click on OK. Let me switch to preview. That's it. Now I want to show sum of totals for each group. So there will be a sum for these sales from this bag product, and there will be a sum for the sales from this notebook product. For that, we can use this group footer section, and for that I'm going to add a running total. Right click on running total fields, then new. Now we are going to create sum for total column. Select the column total, then click on this right arrow. So here we have the field, then we have the type of summary as sum, and we want to evaluate it for each row, and we want to reset the formula on change of group. So here we selected our group. Click on OK. Now we have to add this running total field into our report here. This total sum should be right below the total column. I want to make it as same width. I click on it, then same width, and I want to align them. Right click on it, then align right. That's it. I want to change the format of this total. I click on it, then format object, go to font, then change this color as white, change background color to black, click on OK. That's it. Let me see the preview. So here we have the total of sales from bag, and here we have sales from notebook. Here we have sum of sales from pen and pencil here. Now we want to add horizontal line for these rows. For that, we can add horizontal line here. Horizontal line below this footer section. Line, right click on it, then format object. I will select the highest width and then click on OK. Let me see the preview here. Yes, it looks fine now. In this video, we will discuss how we can export crystal report into Excel and PDF using C# desktop applications like Windows Form, and we will discuss how we can export PDF and Excel in ASP web applications also. Before starting this video, I would like to ask you a favor. If you found this video helpful, please thumbs up this video, and for more awesome videos like this, please be subscribed to this channel .NET Mob. Without further ado, let's get started. First of all, I will show you how you can export crystal report in desktop applications like Windows Form application. For that, here we have one form inside this application. Form 1, inside that we have a crystal report viewer, and we have a crystal report here, CRPT product. So here you can see the CRPT product crystal report. Inside that we are going to bind a symbol data table, C# data table here. First of all, we have declared an object of CRPT product crystal report, and we have created an object of data table product here. Inside the form load event, we have created columns for this C# data table here, and we have filled some test data into this table here, and we have assigned this table as the data source for this crystal report, and we have set this crystal report as the report source for this crystal report viewer. Let me run this application. For that, click on the start button here. So this is how the crystal report looks like. Now we are going to export this crystal report using this export button here. Inside this button, export button, we have written code inside the button click event here. First of all, we have created an object of report document as add the report, and then we have loaded this crystal report CRPT product into this report document here, and then we have set this C# data table product into this report document. This C# data table is populated inside the form load event here. In order to work this method, you have to change the properties of the crystal report. Right click on it, then properties, then change this property copy to output directory, then set it as copy if newer. Here we have created an object of export options and disk file destination options. Then here we have created an object of save file dialog in order to select a file directory to save this PDF or Excel. First of all, I will show you how we can export this crystal report into a PDF file. For that, I have set this save file dialog object filter as PDF files. After selecting a file path and file name, we will save that file path into this variable. After that, we will do this. First of all, we will set the export format type into PDF, and then we will set the destination configuration into this property destination options, and we have to set these format options with the corresponding for PDF format options here. And finally, we will call the report document object.export function. In this tutorial, we are going to export this crystal report into PDF and Excel programmatically, but crystal report viewer provides this export option using this export button. Click on this button. So here you can see the available export options. PDF, CSV format, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, and much more. Let me try to export this crystal report into PDF. For that, you can click on this export button here. I want to save this PDF into my desktop, and I want to name this PDF as exported PDF. Click on save. Let me check my desktop here. So here we have the exported PDF. Let me open that in my Foxit reader. Now it looks fine. Now I am going to export this same crystal report into Excel. For that, let me stop this execution here. Now I want to comment the code for PDF here, and I want to uncomment code for Excel. I want to change this export format type. Don't worry, you can download this project from the link given below in video description. Let me run this application again. Click on export. So here you can see the export extension as Excel extension XLS. I want to save this file into desktop. I will name this Excel as exported Excel. Click on save. Due to low disk space in my system, I have not installed Microsoft Excel in my system, so I can't open this XLS file now. So I have demonstrated how you can export crystal report into PDF and Excel using a C# Windows Form application. So here we have a simple ASP web application. Inside that we have a default SPX page. Inside that we have a button, export button. Inside this button click event, I'm going to export the same Windows Form application crystal report into PDF and Excel. So here we have the button click event. Inside the button click event, we have a using statement with report document object RD, and we have declared crystal report CRPT and data table product here, and we have declared columns for this product table and inserted some data into this table product, and then we have loaded this crystal report with this crystal report CRPT product data table as the source for this crystal report. So here is the main function, report document object dot export to HTTP response. First parameter will be the export format type. For that you can pass like this, export format type dot portable document, that is PDF, then response true, then attachment name. So this crystal report will be downloaded as crystal.pdf, and then finally response.end function. Let me run this application. Click on the start button here. Now click on this export button. So here we are going to download this exported crystal report as PDF. Click on keep. So it is downloaded. Let me open that. So here is the file. In order to export this same crystal report into Excel, we have to pass Excel format here that we have done here. Let me comment this line and uncomment this line. If you run this application, you can export this crystal report into Excel. That's it guys. If you found this video helpful, please be subscribed to this channel. At more, you can download these two projects from the link given below in video description. Please like and share this video with your friends and colleagues so that they can benefit from this. Have a nice day. Bye.